Hello, welcome back for this little episode. Today, there's so much to talk about. Oh my gosh, so much to catch up on. There's been so much happening, so many updates, and so much work in the field of tech. You know, this noise. I mean, it's just noise. I don't know if you can hear it. There it is. It's like the rain. The rain is happening right here, and it's kind of like this white noise, and sometimes all the information that you get about everything happening in the world is the same. It is just so much noise, so much white noise. Some coffee here. And that's why focus is so important. I mean, it's truly the thing that makes you stand out, really, because if you can focus on one thing and ignore all the noise, then it's just, you can get through to the goal of what you, or the problem that you want to solve, and create the product that you want to create, while everyone else is jumping from one thing to the other, just flailing their hands and using, LLMs to try and solve their problems for them, and being like, I don't know what you call it, mid, right? It's like being the common denominator. There's a few people that I've been watching about having the idea that if you just step away from all of these assisting tools and try to do the hard work and think for yourself, that you're actually going to be coming back into any kind of work environment, or any kind of environment where you need to apply yourself in a much better way. And that's why focus is so important. And I guess that in a sense that that's probably why everyone's got ADHD in the US, right? I mean, if you have ADHD, you'll get ahead because you'll be able to focus more. If you catch my drift, if you have ADHD, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, well, I guess with that in mind, the other best thing for focus is eating well, sleeping well, and exercising. So if you get those things down pat, and you've got an idea of what you want to solve, then you can solve it. And the reason I'm talking about focus is because it really is the main thing that has brought me to solving this one issue that I've had with Android for a long time. Far out. It's been 6 months, this issue, more than 6 months, maybe a year now. I've gone through 3 iterations of solving this problem. So I'm leading this app team developing an Android app for an IoT device, and we've had issues with connectivity. It's a BLE device connection. If you have worked on BLE, if you've worked on any kind of device connectivity with BLE, you'll know that there are so many different issues, so many edge cases, and handling it is like this kind of like magical formula that you kind of get this right, get that right. So I've sat down yesterday, I kind of fleshed out all of the cases where you needed to connect, and I did some sequence diagrams, I did some state flow diagrams, I started writing out the steps that are happening in the app and the issues associated with it and all of this stuff. And I started then yesterday afternoon just trying to wipe the slate clean with the existing flow. So I knew what I needed to do. I needed to get rid of any app-driven connection flow and have it not driven by any view model, but driven by the repository. So a view model, the presentation layer, all that should not be driving connections at all. On the dashboard of this application, we don't even have a connect button. It should rely on auto connectivity and on searching, device searching. So look, I'm almost there. I think I've got it. And it's one day, and I didn't use LLMs for assistance in any way, shape, or form. I just sat down and followed the strategy that I've explained before in some of my other videos, is that you want to sit down and flesh out and understand the problem and the environment that the problem exists in. And the rest is almost unconscious, right? So like I started coding. I'm like, I know what I'm looking for. I know what I'm doing. I know the high level structure. And so I'm just going through this Kotlin syntax and doing this and removing that, commenting so much stuff out. And one of the things that I realized is that along with focus, if you got the focus to focus on this particular task, it ends up that much of what we want to do is simple. So most of the work that I've done in the past, I think one day of actually kind of ripping out the guts of this, is like actually making it simpler, removing so much stuff that was just, it made the whole connection flow so complicated. I've actually reverted to like the standard connection flow systems used by BLE that don't involve auto connect, because we've added our own kind of like search functionality just to make that simpler because it was getting in the way. So I'm almost there. And it really is a lot simpler now to understand. I mean, the states that I'm working with, so basically I have this state system. You have your underlying BLE state, which is like what process the connection is going on, but our app needs a separate state system. So not only does it connect when the BLE connects, right, but it also needs to read the data and tell the app from the driver that it is connected once everything is read, once everything's done, and the driver is ready to, I guess, process data and communicate so you can send messages. So really, I've spent these 2 days, and I'm just kind of wrapping up now, which is great because I kind of feel accomplished that I've actually gotten to this point, and I feel like it's so much better. It's more stable, and I still have some work to do, but it's not like it doesn't feel like I'm stressing out and in this panic mode where I'm trying to get stuff done quickly. I'm just kind of taking my time with it so I can get it right because I've tried twice. I did improve it the first time. I think the second time I had a go at it, I was trying to get too much stuff done to fix a couple of edge cases, and I made it worse as a system as a whole. So I'm coming back to this to fix it because we want to do a product that relies on this a lot more, and we're getting comments that this is not as reliable as it could be. So that's where the focus is going to be. So 2 things: focus and keeping it simple. And they're always important. I mean, with anything that you do, because the simpler something is, the easier you can communicate what it is. And the simpler something is, the easier it is to say focus on it because you're not jumping up around. And it's interesting because if you make a system built on simplicity, it is simple in and of itself because you know what it does. And so making components simple, making the interactions between things simple, creating layers that are defined by a specific function, a specific purpose. It takes a long time to learn where to draw the lines, and I think a lot of this stuff about software engineering is about where do you draw the lines around certain implementations? Where do you draw the lines around where something begins and ends, and where one system begins and ends, and having that experience about connecting components, whether it's hardware, PCB, to software, to backend, to cloud. That's really important because having that cognitive simplicity allows someone to step in and just kind of walk through things quickly and easily. And I had to say, this is why I guess in a way, I don't know if you know about cloud implementations. I think Firebase wins because it is simple to use and implement. They have basic things that you just do at a high level that are simple. Whereas if you go to something like Amazon, I mean, it just feels like a Amazon forest. To be honest, it feels like a jungle of just links and buttons and what the hell and where do I go to do this and what does this mean? Syntax and meaning is like not as clear. It's just not as clear. I always felt like that about Amazon Web Services, that their cloud platform was not as easy to use. I think Microsoft cloud platform maybe a little bit better than Amazon, but I think generally Firebase is an easy step, and Google is like, in terms of readability and understandability, that's the best. I hate to say it, but that's the way it is. And I think Apple's code is pretty good. I sometimes get a bit confused about their naming conventions and I guess contradictions in how they do things, but it is what it is. I think in general, like, Apple's pretty good. The developer team there is pretty good at communicating things and making things trying to make things simple to use. So I guess on that note, again, these are key things to take away: is like focus and simplicity are your friends. Use them wisely. Try to focus on the right thing. So I guess on that note, I'm going to get back to it and finish a few things before wrapping up for today. I'll catch you later. See you at the next video. Bye.